On this week of Jaywalking, I talk a little bit about all the jobs that I currently have, and then I'm joined by a very funny Philly comedian, Rasheed Wesley Jr., and we talk about all the crazy jobs we've had over the years, the nonsense we got into as kids, and just a little bit about being sneakerheads at the end. I think you're gonna love it. Please listen, subscribe, comment, do all the things, and we'll catch you next week on Jaywalking. All right, well, we're back. I took a little bit of a week hiatus there. I've been on the road quite a bit recently. I was with the board teachers up in like Massachusetts and Jersey and New York, and I was at a casino last week. So it's been a lot on the road, which is great. Don't get me wrong. I like aspects of it, but you could see and you talk to when I listen to some of the podcasts of comedians like, Fluffy, Gabriel Iglesias, or Tom Segura, like you can hear them talk about how it puts wear on, the family and things like that. And it can be really hard. And even though mine's on more of a micro level, I feel some of those things, but it's funny, like, I've always been busy. And I think a lot of us, especially if you're a teacher, you've got a side hustle. There's no way you're just a teacher. And this episode, we're going to be talking about all sorts of crazy jobs. I'm going to be joined by a guest as well today. But, I was thinking about all the things I'm spinning right now because I had a moment even this week where, you have those weeks where you're just like, I'm getting hit in the face with so many demands and so many people are expecting things from me. And then I realized, oh, it's because I put myself in all of these positions. Like right now, I'm a Spanish and Latin teacher. Now I only teach part-time. I'm actually have a 60% schedule. And then off of that, I'm also the director of operations for the American Comedy Institute in New York City. So I do that remotely. So I'm able to kind of schedule all of the workshops and all of the people's private sessions. And I do all the billing and the websites and the Zoom calls. And I set up appointments. And I actually started teaching there as well. So I offered like a virtual workshop that I designed and taught. I do private lessons through them. So it's like, that in itself is like a 25-hour-a-week commitment. Now I can spread that out. It's a lot of answering emails and scheduling, and so I can kind of pick within reason when I can do that work. I also this week was helping a college professor design his Canvas course because, we know teachers, we're content experts. We're not tech experts. So because through the pandemic, I started doing a lot of helping the Flintstones meet the Jetsons. And so I've become a consultant when it comes to like learning management systems. I used to work for Villanova University during the pandemic, and they use Blackboard and they also use Canvas. And so I'm very proficient in Google, Canvas, Classroom. So I've had a few people that, they teach a course or two for like a university, but there's a lot of demands on the professors to have things updated in a course. And for some of them, especially if they're an older professor, it's just not worth their time. They'd rather pay me to do it, and I'm happy to do it. So I had some deadlines to develop a course for an instructor this week as well. I also teach a comedy class locally at Soul Joel's. So if you're near Pottstown, I actually run the comedy school there, which is really fun. So on Wednesdays, we offer 6-week courses, and we do about one a season. So we're just getting started on a new class. It started last Wednesday. And again, so much fun. And these are a lot of times are just people who are like, I want to get better at public speaking, or it's a bucket list item, or, we try to keep it really cheap and affordable and make it a whole experience. They're going to get headshots. They're going to get a video. They get a show at the end. They get 6 2.5 to 3 hour classes with me. And we have some other instructors we bring in from New York City who have a little bit more experience within the realm of comedy. Someone who has, I can't fake having only 5 years of experience, but I'm a really good teacher and I'm really good at designing it. So I love doing that. I'm also offering like a hosting workshop there. So I'm parlaying a lot of different jobs. And so those are just a lot of different demands. And, you can only be pulled in so many directions. But, if you piece all of those things together, it's a nice amount of money that my family can live off of, so we can go on vacation more than once a year. If my daughters need stuff, we don't have to worry about, do we have any money for that? We can send them to cheer camp. We can buy the gear that they need to buy for those things. So, hey, is it making me crazy sometimes because I have 9 million things to do? Yeah. But I'm really good at it. I was always doing stuff like coaching. So I'd spend just as much time coaching, but I was making like $2 an hour when you divided up all of the work. So it's just like, why? I mean, I loved the sport. That's why I did it for 17 years. But when I look back now, I'm like, oh, wow. Like, what I get paid to be on stage for or run a class or do this, I'm like, versus what I was getting paid to like, announce at a game or coach, you really got to love the job. And I did for 17 years. And then I think with COVID, like most people, there was this switch in my brain that was like, listen, moments matter now. And so I gave so much of myself to that for 17 years. And now it's time to switch on a different path. And so it's kind of fun. I love all the jobs I do. Does it stress me out? Was I feeling a little stress on Tuesday afternoon? Yes. But by Thursday, things had subsided. Here we are on Thursday recording, and I feel really great. I'm running an open mic tonight. That's another little gig I have where I get paid and get a little budget to have some fun and tell some jokes and entertain people in Lansdale the third Thursday of every month. So if you're at Well Crafted or anywhere near that in Lansdale, third Thursday of the month is always open mic comedy night. And so you just piece together all those jobs. Man, it like can really take it out on you. So you just got to really divide your day up. I use Google Calendar. I've mentioned that, a bunch of episodes back when I was kind of talking about how we organize ourselves. Google Calendar for me is like, I need it because otherwise I can't know. Like my wife's really good at putting in when she has stuff and the girls have stuff and my mom puts in when she has appointments and it all just works. I mean, when I was doing the coaching and all of that, I was constantly double booking myself. But now things just flow well. So that's why I was like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing right now because everything just flows. I'm really good at it. Do I make some mistakes? Yeah, I made some silly mistakes this week when I was, getting all the Zoom meetings set up for the school in New York. I gave a couple people the wrong link but I always have my phone on me. I'm always able to check and adjust. And so I'm like, if you make an omelet, you're going to break a few eggs. So I've gotten really good at giving myself grace for, making mistakes because sometimes I'm not good at that with myself. I don't know how you guys are, but the whole self-talk and being positive, I can be a bear to myself. If I make a left turn when I should have made a right turn because I was thinking about something and not paying attention, oh man, I mean, or if I'm like washing the dishes and like I stack the dishes on the little, rack improperly and like a cup falls off onto the floor, I'll get like so mad in a moment where I'm like, okay, now I'm doing too much because I can feel the triggers happening faster. And I'm like, oh, I'm stressed right now because I'm letting a plastic cup falling on the ground like ruin my afternoon. And so I think once you can start recognizing the triggers and the moments in yourself where you're like, oh, I'm not myself right now. Like I'm on a hairpin trigger. And I can always tell that at school because I don't want to act like that. I don't want to bring that baggage to the class. I don't want to bring that baggage to my kids and start being passive aggressive with them because I'm overloaded with some of the other stuff. So you really got to compartmentalize that. I can't, I don't want to bring home stresses from school to my children. So I joke in my act that we need to have like teacher rage rooms, just like, I don't know, a room with a copier and a sledgehammer, maybe a room full of like mannequins that look like students on TikTok all yelling 6-7. We just need something like that. Maybe like a room full of like Alexa speakers. And it's like your principal's voice coming over asking like, what's your why? Can you cover the class? Hey, I'm going to need you to chaperone the dance. And you just get a baseball bat to take to all these Alexas. Or maybe one last room where it's like the principal's office and you just take a dump on his desk and go home. Like something to just, relieve the stress. Because, like, we got to find ways. I do a keynote speech when I go and talk at schools where I talk about, making sure we are filling up our own cup and that self-care isn't selfish. And so finding ways that you can make sure that you're tapping into a well and not just using up your reserves. So and that's where comedy came in for me because it made me feel like I was at recess. Or recently, my daughters love going to the library, so we were on a mission to like see all the libraries in like Chester County. So like on a night when they don't have cheer or one of them has cheer and the other doesn't, I take the other to a library for like 2 hours, and they'll go through, play some games, read some books. I get to do a little work. It's just a nice quiet environment. Well, I should say it's usually a quiet environment. 2 days ago, we went to this really nice little library in Birdsboro. I think it's called Boone Area Library. And they have a really good DVD. My oldest, Alicia, loves the DVDs. She's obsessed with DVDs and VHS tapes. So, like, when we go to the library, she pulls a chair up to the DVD section or the wall and just starts reading all the DVDs, looking at the discs. She's been watching on YouTube other people who, like, unbox DVD sets of, like, Dora and other, like, Nick Jr. characters, the Backyardigans, all that kind of stuff. And so she's, like, in it. Like, that's her hyper focus right now. And so we'll go there, and it's kind of like a nice setup. Like, I can sit at this one desk and have a full shot of where she is so that I can kind of keep an eye on her but still do my own thing. 'Cause she also wants privacy. She'll be like, "Daddy, I want to be alone." And she's 12. I should be able to give her some autonomy. She actually wears a watch called an Angel Sense watch, so I could, like, totally, like, Knight Rider her. If you're young, Knight Rider was a show in the 90s and the 80s. But basically, I could call to her watch from my phone and say, "Hey, baby, come back to the main room," or, check on her if she's in the bathroom. So, in any event, I like the setup there. So, I'm sitting down, she's doing her thing in the other room. And then all of a sudden, I hear like three hyenas barrel in. And these kids are like just your typical, like, middle school hoodlums, and they come rolling in. It's like a girl and two guys. I'm gonna guess they're somewhere between 12 and 14. And they come running in like it's a playground, not a library. It's like it's a playground. They jump in the chairs behind me, and I see one of the workers come in, and I'm like, "Oh, good, someone's gonna get them out of here." But he just like scolded them for having food. He's like, "You're not allowed to have food. You got to put it away." And then he just left, and then they stayed in there. But they were like running around. They're slapping each other. It was like a full on episode of Beavis and Butthead. And I'm just sitting there doing my work. They clearly saw me sitting there with papers out, laptop out, trying to do my work. And they're like, and then all of a sudden the F bomb starts dropping. And I'm just sitting there like, "You're off duty, man. You're off." This must be like a cop feels like when he sees a crime happening. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, "Don't say anything." Because I could tell, like, if I was just going to say something to them, they were going to be like, "Who's this guy? You're not my dad," whatever. So it's like, I could just hear the way that they were talking to each other and how goofy they were being. And so after like the fourth or fifth F bomb, I finally just was like, "Hey guys," I just was trying to be, I'm like, "I'm going to treat this like I'm going to be like cool older brother vibes." And I was like, "Hey guys, we got to share this space together, right? This is a public library. I have to do work. You guys are trying to have some fun. Like, we got to find a way to share this space together. It's a library, right?" Like, and they were kind of cool. They like stood up and they were like, "Oh yeah, sorry." And then they kind of like lowered their voice and they were fine. I didn't care that they were talking, but like it was just how loud they and obnoxious they were being. So then they started policing themselves a little bit, like telling when somebody would mess up, the other was like, "Shh." And they were trying so hard, but lack parenting, lack of discipline. These kids just could not manage themselves properly. And we're in a library. Like, it's just insane to me that, like, at no point did the guy never came back. Like, he didn't even want to deal with them. He must have seen them before and was just like, "Listen, there's nobody back there. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let it go." And it's just, it's a clear indication of like these kids have nobody, you know, supervising them right now. Like, nobody's wondering where they are. The parents might be at work. Who knows? Maybe they're being raised by a grandparent. I see a lot of that. And so, I'd much rather them be here than doing whatever else out on the street. So, I wanted them to have that space too. I didn't want to be this curmudgeon old guy complaining, but man, I felt like I was in third period, like scolding my class. Like, it's just, it's amazing to see how there's just a lack of decorum with stuff like a library. Like, so, I mean, I don't know. There needs to be maybe some better after school programs or, I know in Pottstown, the Boys and Girls Club at the Ricketts Center offers some stuff. I don't know for like the older kids. I think once they reach a certain age, they kind of start doing their own thing. But I don't know if in Birdsboro it's a little different. But yeah, these three kids took over that library. But normally going to the library, peaceful experience. But yeah, because it gives me a chance to let Alicia explore, read, stay off a screen for a couple hours, which is great. And then, it gives me the time to kind of get some work done and manage all that stuff and plan my lessons, grade papers, whatever the case may be. Because those papers aren't going to grade themselves, you know. The kids are always asking, when are we going to get our quizzes back? And I pride myself on getting them back pretty quickly. But when you have kids who get extended time, you have kids who are absent, you know, then you get into like, well, I want them all to be able to go over it together. So, you know, I always want to get it back the next day. But, you know, with the weekend I had planned on doing a bunch of grading. But, you know, on the weekends, it was kind of like, you know what? I'm busy. I got other stuff going on. I got to kind of prioritize myself. And I think a lot of teachers started doing that after the pandemic. Like, we got to prioritize ourselves because there's a way for me to do all these jobs properly and give them all their due. And now I feel like I'm getting paid properly rather than when I was just coaching where I was giving so much of myself. But, you know, the paycheck, what I would get in a full season is what I would get for like one weekend on the board teachers tour, you know? So it's just like one of those things where you're just like, oh, well, I was killing myself for months for that one paycheck. Here I did 4 15-minute sets. So it's like one of those things where you're like, wow, this is all of that hard work. You know, I parlayed that into this really cool job. But I was thinking about all the jobs that I had as a kid and all the like, you know, rinky-dink jobs. And that's what my guest and I are going to talk about today is sort of like, what are all these jobs we had as kids? Like, how did we first make our first money? Was it chores around the house? Was it, you know, and so I had some really interesting ones as I think back to my, like, you know, what my resume would look like as a kid. And, you know, I think it'd be interesting to hear from my guest too. And so, you know, that's the part we're going to segue into now where we're going to say, well, we have all these jobs now, but what jobs did we have originally? What jobs did you have as a kid, you know? So, you know, please feel free to drop in the comments and share us, you know, some of the jobs that you guys did as well, because I think you're going to hear there's some crazy ones out there, some pretty typical ones out there. So, yeah, we're going to dive into that part next. Now I'm not alone anymore. I am joined by my guest today, Rasheed Wesley Jr., in the house.
Hey, everybody.
Dude,
thanks for having me,
I'm so glad you're here, man.
Oh, man, thanks for being I'm so glad to be here.
Whenever I ask people here, I usually ask them to talk about you remember the first time we met? I don't know that I remember the first time we met.
I do, actually. I do. It was at Pep's Pub. It was, that was the first time I ever saw you. I think I had heard your name the first time ever earlier that day. And I go to Pep's Pub. I think it might have been my first time at that mic, too.
I missed that place.
That was, R.I.P. But, yeah, I watch, and, you know, you see the general open mic fodder.
Yeah.
And I'm watching. I'm like, okay, you know. And that's fine. You know, I'm watching people work stuff out. That's the beauty of open mics. Yeah. But then I see, I'm like, oh, nah, that's different. This is somebody, this feels like Tracy McGrady pulling up to a rec gym just to get some shots up. And you're like, okay, all right, buddy.
I love that place. That place for me, too, when I first started was like, because it was just so, I don't know, I felt comfortable. It felt like home. I grew up not too far from there in Scranton. So it's it just felt, it felt comfortable. The people there were great, so supportive.
It felt like if Cheers had an open mic.
Yes.
Like, it felt like
I feel like 100%. That was my favorite mic for the longest time. And it was a Friday. So back when, you know, wasn't getting booked or anything, like, that was Ryan Rins and I would roll up there.
Word. Yeah, honestly.
Friday.
Every comic knows finding a good open mic is like finding a gold nugget, bro. Like, you want to protect a good Friday because you're not, unless you like Dave Chappelle or Kevin Hart, you're not booked every Friday.
No, and you can't just roll. I mean, if you were Dave Chappelle, you could literally roll into any club and just
and now it's a show.
Take time, get time, and now it's your mic.
Yeah, but if you off or if you got a show Saturday but you don't got a show Friday, you want to polish up, you need a good Friday mic. So. Yeah. Shout out to Pep's Pub, yo.
I miss Pep's. That's good. Yeah, so I was thinking about too because you also teach. So that's another thing we have in common.
Yes, which I didn't know at the time when I first met you, and I did, But yeah, I'm also a teacher, a third generation actually.
Really?
Yeah. My grandmother was a teacher. My mom's a teacher. I am also a teacher. And if
wild.
I have children, I hope they will be cursed enough to also be a teacher.
But that's generationally, that's crazy teaching.
Oh, yeah, man. We're very good at telling people what to do.
Right.
That's very much a day trait.
I was a family of nurses, so I always thought I was going to be a doctor at first, and then I wasn't good at science. So
I think that's what keeps a lot of people out of like medical stuff is science and math, bro.
Yeah. When I went to Catholic school in the 90s, they didn't do math and science.
Word? Well, all right, Catholic school science, I'm sure that doesn't really go to get, all right, here's your 7-day science lesson. What did God do today?
Yeah, exactly.
What's
That's
God
exactly
going to do tomorrow?
Right, like sex ed. There was no sex. I don't think Father Rafferty knew much more than we did.
Oh,
You know, so.
Lesson 1, don't do it.
Yeah, that's it.
Put
That's
your
it.
clothes
End
on.
of lesson. End of lesson.
Yeah.
Leave room for the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, just put your clothes on, walk out the room, and pretend you never saw that.
That's right.
That's a Catholic school sex education lesson.
Yeah, because I can't imagine. I actually thought I almost went into the priesthood after high school. I had a really good like youth group experience, and I was like doing that for a while. I was like, oh, maybe I'll be a priest. And
actually, okay. So one, 2 things. One, I could never have joined the priesthood because I've been kicked out of no less than 3 Catholic schools. 3 of them. 3.
How
Record
do you get kicked out of a Catholic school?
Well, with talent, talent and a devious mind and ADHD will definitely get the job done. My record is 9 days.
9 days.
And that one I wanted. I wanted that one. I wanted to get up out of there. Because I hated having to be a 5-year-old wearing a tie for part of a uniform. This sucks.
Even the clip-on.
Even the clip-on. I hated it. So I was like, I'm done. One school, I didn't mean to get kicked out, and I feel bad because that was actually my mom's alma mater. She was so proud that I went to the same school as her. But then I beat a kid's ass in the art room for saying something about my mama. So I pole vaulted over the table, whooped his ass. We was about to have our first basketball game. I got on the team, right about to have my first basketball game, cut me from the team, but allowed me to be in the Christmas pageant because I was one of 3 black students who could beatbox. and they needed a beatboxing camel for the Christmas pageant. So
that's crazy.
But yeah, and then so you thought you were about to go into priesthood and that was going to be your first thing. Like, I couldn't have done it. Like,
well, for a while there, I was kind of like, oh, I liked helping people. This was cool. Like, I got a good feeling from it. That's why I think like teaching kind of parlayed that in it. But I was like, I knew I didn't want to do like just manual labor. Like I had so many like crappy jobs, even like as like a young kid. I was telling you before we started recording, I like the first job I ever had, which wasn't even really a job. I don't know. I was walking home every day the same route, and there was this store that set up. And they had pogs at the time, which were all the rage. Which now I've learned
means something completely
is
different.
a very different meaning. But these pogs were the ones with the decorative pieces, and then there was slammers, and the guy had a bunch, and it was like a little general store, and I think it was meant for being like. They were WIC approved, so I think they were there to kind of help some of the poorer families and like whatever. And so it was like a little general store, but he had these pogs and he had a big front window display. And he would let me organize the pogs so that it would like catch kids' eyes and they would come in and maybe spend some money. And then he taught me how to use the register. He had he was doing like the fake Blockbuster in the back room where he taught me how to use the shrink wrap machine where you would take the thing and you and then you had to use like a blow dryer thing to shrink wrap it.
Yeah, make it look new. Yeah,
and then I would like get the orders in of milk and he would show me how to read the order. And there was a lot of like what I thought was gay milk because it said homo milk because there was abbreviated from homogenize. Oh. And I was like, oh, my moms would love this milk. This is gay milk. This is great.
Milk straight from the East Village, baby. milk straight from Soho, baby.
But I think he paid me in pogs. And I worked there a lot every day after school. And I was like, and that was like the first thing. And then I had a friend whose job, he lived next to a orthodontist. And so his job in the summers, he was on vacation. So I got to do it for 2 weeks for him. He went to literally every dentist. There were like 6 dentists in town. And he would collect, I guess they would make like clay.
Like molds?
Molds.
Yeah, molds. Yeah.
And so this guy that lived next to him was the one who actually made the dentures. So I had to go around and collect all of them. And it was like a pretty easy. You just walked the route.
It
was like having a paper route. But
there ain't nothing wrong with that. One, just so y'all know, POGS also stands for fat ass white girl. So take that exact same story that Jay said and keep fat ass white girls in mind. That story looks wild in your brain.
Yeah, it would have been more of a strip club than
he let me organize them in the windows and all the. And they
usually
were
those places have dark. Yeah. Usually that's exactly.
They were WIC approved. That killed me. But my first job, actually, my real first paying job is something different. But my first job is a mixture of teaching and the cloth. I also was a vacation Bible school teacher. That was like low key my first job.
Really?
Yeah, dog. I was in charge of I think 9 to 11. That was my group for a couple years.
And you just had to do lessons or activities, games, whatever.
Yeah, and I think
did they give you like a playbook, or did you have to come up with stuff?
I mean, like we got the playbook, but it was a very boring playbook. So I'm just like, okay, they ain't gonna feel this. Ain't nobody. What one of these kids is like, ooh, let's get trapped on a desert? No, damn it, don't nobody want to do that. So I just had to kind of call things on the fly. But it was generally cool, and I showed up because we got free chips every day. So good time.
They paid you in chips.
Yeah,
is that what it is?
Oh yeah, paid me in chips and prayers.
Chips and prayers.
The same things you get when a natural disaster happens.
That's right. That's right.
The
Red Cross is coming with the chips and a blanket, maybe.
Oh yeah, the blanket. Yo, only the best ones get blankets. That's for a family of 5 and up. Like
that's right.
If you by yourself and your shit burned down, you just gonna have to shiver. You just gonna have to be outside. You just have to figure it out. Yeah. But that was my first job. Oh, and I met this kid. I'll never forget because she had the coolest name I've ever met. Her full name was Secret Mystic Waters. So she had a regular last name of Waters, but her parents freaked it, bro. That was Secret, and then you make the middle name Mystic. That sounds like a drink flavor that you can only get at a 99-cent store. That go with they go next to the Calypso. If it's alcoholic, it goes next to the Alizé. It goes all that, But and then my real first job was a bar wash. I worked at a bar wash.
You wash bars?
Yo, this was the most illegal thing I could. If I was trying to come up with an illegal business, this would be the one. They had me 9. I was just old enough to be able to bike across town because I'm from Chester.
Yeah.
So I would bike from the east side to the west side every day. I'm supervised. So I think I had to be like 10, 11 at that point.
Yeah.
But I'm biking there. And when I would get there, my job was to sit in this back room with a TV and a VHS DVD player on a cart and with a fan so I don't die in the heat. And wait for people until they would pull their cars into this random garage, and I would pop out and I would wash their car. And while they're washing their car, they're drinking just heavily.
So they went to the bar.
I was the wash. They went to the bar.
And then they were now, a couple of drinks deep. How fast were you? How fast were you washing?
I was not good at this job, bro.
They're like, hey, take your time, son.
Yeah, yo, nobody ever complained. No one. Yeah, I ain't never heard you missed. I got a lot of you missed the spots. Actually, I did. I got a lot of.
Get
that. Yo, did you get the underneath the wheel well? You gotta get the other side now. So I got a lot of that. And after a good 45 minutes, these heavily inebriated people would hop back into whatever Honda Accord they parked
and just
zoom
zigzag off
night into the summer afternoon.
Wow.
Never to be seen again.
That's crazy.
Yo, wild.
That is a wild one.
Yeah, I never thought.
I had a paper route.
I had a paper route.
And by me, I mean my mom. Actually, the during the week, because I did the daily paper, that was easy because there's only like 20-some people on my route.
Oh, right.
But like Sunday had like 99 people, and they would drop it off at an ungodly hour in sections, and then you had to bring it home and put it together.
In sections? You had to put it together?
You had to put them together.
Oh, hell nah,
So it was terrible. And then after it was raining, then you had to put them in the bags. And,
yeah.
And then my mom, it was just my poor mom. It was her. She had the job.
I'm about to say, bro.
Like,
honestly, she had a second source of income.
But I remember seeing it because they had it in the newspapers, in the Carbondale newspaper, and it was like Paper Boys wanted, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like, I wanted to have a job. And
I grew up watching movies about kids in the 70s and shit. And I always there was a part of my life where I would constantly open the newspaper, hoping that there was like a wanted newspaper boy, because I wanted a job. So I was always looking like, please let it be the day that these niggas want to go back to the 1970s. Like, please.
Yeah, I that was like the first one. I didn't last too long with that, which wasn't too bad. And then my mom worked at a nursing home, and before I was able to have my papers, I would just volunteer. I would take the residents to the dining hall and back.
Oh,
I would
okay.
call bingo. I'd be Santa
Hey.
at Christmas. Like back when I
bingo
was 12.
had to be lit, bro. Bingo, you had to feel like you had so much power.
I was so great, especially when I got to do bingo as Santa. Then you're
Ooh,
just like,
yo, well, bring that back. They always doing it up at Joe's, bro.
Yeah, they're right. I
Yo,
should.
that would be lit.
I didn't mind doing it. I was doing it for free just to kill time because half the time my mom was working 2 jobs, so it was like I got to spend some time with her. And then my first actual job was in the kitchen once I was old enough there.
Oh, word.
Watching them put cheesesteaks into blenders so that like Ethel could eat a cheesesteak.
my mom is like a lifelong employee of Elwyn Inc. Shout out to Elwyn. Y'all do amazing work for people with differently abled and special needs people.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Davidson School, bro, my mom tied in. It's a family business over there, bro. Like, for the Days and the Wesleys, getting a job at Elwyn is damn near getting a state job in the hood. Okay. Like, it's like, oh, you got security now. They ain't never gonna do it. Yeah. You got the benefits. So, like, when I tell you it's a family thing, like, my mom worked there, her brother worked there, which is how she met my dad and his dad and his brother and his other brother and his sister. Oh, wow. The whole family worked there. And then my grandfather met his girlfriend there. Everybody was working there. So when I was little, my mom would take me to work sometimes because she didn't always have
childcare, whatever. Yeah.
So when she would work the residence hall, like the residencies, because they have like multiple residencies on campus, the residents knew me like a little brother. Like they would watch me when she was like, "Hey, I'm about to pass out meds. Watch my son," and they'd be like, "Got it." Like, and the only time it ever went bad was like regular teenagers. We're in their room, like we're all, a bunch of them are hanging out. It's about to be bedtime, and they start playing a game. Like, so they start playing a video game, and ain't nobody paying attention to the little kid no more.
Yeah.
So they had their bed next to a really high dresser. So I would get on the bed, climb up to the dresser, jump off the dresser onto the bed. Did it a bunch of times, no problem. The one time I said, "Let me do it backwards," I jumped. And like, I didn't hit the mattress. I hit the wood side of it, and I just cracked my shit. Like, it was so bad. And my mom, do you know how bad it is to like for your mom to be like, "Stop crying, you gonna get me fired." I had to like stifle my tears so we could eat tomorrow. Like,
you're like, "Shut up,
shut your ass up." You ain't supposed to. Like, I remember
I'll give
he's
you
like
something to cry about.
Right? I remember he said, "You ain't supposed to be here." I'm like, I ain't want to be here.
Brought me.
I ain't drive myself.
My mom used to do odd and end jobs for people too, like to make ends meet. Like she would like paint for people and stuff.
Oh, word.
And so I remember like bringing my little Lego briefcase as she was like, and I'd be like hanging out while she like paint a porch for someone or do whatever. Like I always loved, that kind of stuff. When you're like, I probably shouldn't be here. My mom, when she was in the nursing home, I would often stay in the break room for a lot of it. And,
word.
I didn't mind doing that if I had to be taken to work with her or whatever. It was kind of cool.
My dad had a side gig for a little while. Once, actually, my dad worked at my school.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, my dad worked at my school for a little bit. It was when I went to an alternative school. That was...
After getting kicked out of all the schools. Yeah.
Yeah, and my dad got a job. And I remember one time I got in trouble for 2 things in one day. One was small, one was a little bit bigger. I accidentally broke a kid's toy, and I got in a little bit of trouble on that, but it was an accident. They let it go. But I think I got into a fight later, and I got a write-up. And your parents get notified about the write-up. But because my dad was already there, they was like, well, we'll just tell your dad, and then he can tell your mom. They didn't realize I don't live with my dad. I live with my mom. So you could tell him that nigga's just going to be mad on the ride home. Like, he's just whatever. So, and he was cool about it. My dad was always weird about fighting. Like, if I won, he wasn't that mad. So he was like, all right, whatever. Yeah. So we're on the ride home. And I look at dad and I'm like, "Hey man, mom's gonna be real mad. Like, can you help me with this?" And he's like, "All right, I got you, no problem." So we get to the crib. My mom buzzes in because we live in an apartment. We walk up the stairs and I look at him like, "You got me, right?" He's like, "I got you." I'm like, "All right, cool." So we get to the door. He knocked on the door. I don't realize that as soon as he knocks on the door, he steps behind me, and I'm like, what? And as soon as the door opened, I just hear my dad go, "Hey, she got something to tell you," and just leave. And he just left me, and she's like, "What you got to tell me?" I was like, Yo, bro, like you said, don't never let nobody put their hands on me, right? He did me so dirty, bro. I was so mad.
He's like, I'm not getting involved with that.
Well, because my mom is 6'2", my dad is like 5. I jokingly say 5'5". He's like 5'8", but but either way, like
there's a difference there.
Oh, dog, and he was skinny, and my mom was here with it. Oh, nah, man, Well,
I think moms also, even if they don't have it, they have the strength.
Oh, they find it. They find the strength somewhere, bro. Like I've seen. You ever seen a black mom like grab a child's lips, like the whole mouth, like the whole mouth. They will grab the whole shit. Like if they somewhere and the kids like, but I want it. They just. Bro, and like the whole shit, like they get the thumb under the bottom lip and all 4 fingers on the top one, and they just grab.
Clench.
Yeah, but it's not just a sandwich. Then they do this shit, and then it's like they trying to take it from you. Like I've always imagined there's some kid out there who just don't have no mouth because his mom snatched that shit when he was 12. Like I told your ass, shut your ass up. You get it back when you good.
That's right. Yeah, there's no joke. I think there is like this. Like I grew up in a neighborhood in Scranton where there were a lot of black families, and so you could tell the ones like you heard his mom yelling from like 2 blocks over, and you're like, oh, dude, you better get going, Rodney, because you're gonna get your ass beat.
Yo, terrifying. Like when I was little, we lived in apartment, and the kitchen, like our window overlooked this like little front lawn, and since we were like younger and Chester is kind of like dangerous sometimes, we primarily just played like on that front little lawn part. But I always knew like anything that I said too loud or I did something, my mom could easily just like look out the window and my ass is whooped. So I played it real safe, but if I got around that corner when I know I was a different person around that corner. That was a different man on that corner.
Yeah, I remember like even when I worked with my mom at the nursing home, and she was no nonsense. I remember being sick one time, and like I was like throwing up, and she was like, "All right, clean it up. We got to go to work."
We gotta go to work.
I was like
you get a W2, like you get a W2 too.
Yeah,
like when do we get paid?
That's right. Well, and then I was working there, so like she was driving me there, but it was just like she was no nonsense about like, you're going to work now. So like I think a lot of the work ethic I get from her because there were no excuses. We got to get, because if you're not working, you're not getting paid. You're not
Word.
So it's one of those things that she really taught me a lot. I remember when I would get my paycheck and we'd cash it, she'd have me do like envelopes with like
the budgeting.
The budgeting.
Yo, smart. Parents need to bring that back. If you have, please do that because I didn't get that and my money all fucked up. So
I think it's so good because then I broke off on my own. Like when I was in like high school, I got my first job that I didn't have a parent or someone help me.
Word.
Was dishwasher at Perkins.
Hey, yo, okay. I did food service for one day, and I swore I would never do it again.
I did a ton. Then I got so sick of that that I graduated to Denny's across the way.
Oh, that
and
seems
I did the
worse.
Cook, but I did cook, so they paid you 3 times the amount.
Oh, word. Okay.
So you were getting like back then, like minimum wage was like $5.25 or something.
Yeah.
And I think dishwashing we were getting like 7 or 8, but cooking you were getting like $10 an hour. So it was like, oh, this is nice. And then when I went to college, I parlayed that into like working for the food service at school, and I started at a higher wage because
you had past experience.
Because I had that past experience. So
smart.
That was huge. So I did all of the catering at college at Ursinus forever. Food service was the easiest in. Pizza shops. I used to deliver and work for pizza shops.
Word.
That's how I did student teaching, because the student teaching you don't get paid.
Yeah, you still got to support, which is crazy. By the way,
wild. Like, and I think they're going to change that. I hope so. Because like I would teach all week, and then Friday I would get off. And from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m., I was in Phoenixville, and I would deliver pizza for TD Alfredo's.
Word. Okay.
So Friday, Saturday, I would do 2 10-hour shifts. And in those 2 10-hour shifts, I would make enough in one weekend to pay my bills. And then the other 3 weekends were like extra money or whatever.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
But like the tips, it was all from the tips. And then, I would get the check. You get like $2.83 an hour. So like that check that you would get in 2 weeks was just like a small amount for like gas money or whatever. Right. But the tips you would leave every day with were like,
not bad.
That was huge. So that was good because I could work but then I was you're tired. That's the other thing is like, I was talking earlier before you got here about all the jobs I do now. And I'm like, oh man, I was kicking my butt this week.
When you only had one job.
And I'm like, part of me is like, but now it's like, I enjoy all the jobs I have, and they're fun. Like you get to do, especially when it's comedy involved. Like,
see,
that's fun.
I mean, that's the dream. You know what I'm saying? Like for like my first job, I got on accident. Really, like my first paying by myself, it was accident. I had just gotten into sneakers. I wasn't even really into sneakers yet. I was my mom was buying a pair of sneakers, and no. All right, sorry, scratch that. I wasn't in sneakers yet. I was living with my mom right after I graduated high school. I was about to start my first year at Delaware County Community, and my mom needed some shoes. We go on the Finish Line at Springfield Mall, and I see some. I'm like, oh, these is all right. This is whatever. Da 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 da. And the manager comes out. She's like, oh, you like sneakers? I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh, well, we dropping these Jordans tomorrow. She brings out these gray and orange Jordan 12s. I still have them. Remember them to this day. And then she just goes, you looking for a job? I'm like, do I get a discount on this stuff? She goes, yeah. I'm like, then yes, I am. And I get the job. I was nice with it. She ran that place like a ship. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Because we need a good manager.
Yeah, nah, but she was, it was like a hood good manager.
Yeah.
Like she had a real, she played real street tactics with it, but like, on the corporate side, she was untouchable. Like, we were doing things that no other sneaker store did. Like, if you came and said, hey, I want this shoe on the wall, I want this exact shoe, we had to, one, run to the back. We couldn't walk. We had to run to the back. Then we had to bring you the shoe that you wanted, a similar shoe but the same brand, and then a competitor shoe that's higher priced. So you could get an option. We had to do that for every shoe you asked for. So if you wanted 2 shoes, we had to bring out 6.
Damn.
We were out here running. But then she would do little, like, hood dirty stuff. Like I remember there was 2 other sneaker stores in the mall. It was Finish Line, Champs across from us, and then Foot Locker upstairs. It was a Jordan release Saturday. I remember it was the Glow Jordan 4s, and we didn't have a line for them, but everybody else did. So we're like, what's going on here? I didn't put my shirt on yet, so I'm still technically off the clock. My assistant manager comes in and he goes like, yo, put on your shirt. I'm like, what's up? He's like, just put on your shirt, follow me. I'm like, all right, cool. So he puts on the shirt. We go upstairs and tell people like, hey, yo, Finish Line got them Jordan 4s and ain't no line, bro. Come downstairs. Come on downstairs. Go to Foot Locker. Hey, bro, come on over there. You know we got the joint. And we see the employees like looking at us like, oh, word. Okay, cool. So 3 hours go by. Stores open. Got customers coming in. All of a sudden, we see 4 dudes in referee uniforms walking in, and they go like, "Hey, y'all, where Ted? Where Ted?" And we're like, Ted in the back. Bring him out here." So we go get Ted. Ted got to come out. He goes, what's going on, fellas? He had a stutter. What's going on, fellas? Nah, what was all that upstairs, bro? You out here poaching customers? What's going on, bro? It's like, oh, well, you know, y'all was gonna sell out, and we had, yeah, but we gonna sell out. We gonna sell out. When we don't have no more, we send them down to y'all. You get the leftovers. Don't come upstairs with that. Don't make me have to come down here again. I swear to God, yo, I thought we was gonna get a technical foul. I was so scared. Like
they take it serious. It's like storage, like just turf wars.
The sneaker world is a constant battle. It's terrible. Oh my! I've seen the wildest stuff. I saw somebody smoke crack for the first time in front of me because of sneakers.
No, I see. I never. I was.
That's a wild story. I believe y'all can wonder. Y'all can wonder.
We had a group that had Air Jordans, and I could never afford them. So, like, we'd get the Kmart knockoffs. And it was like some guy, looked like a guy, but if you look close, he had like a knee brace on, and like there's like an ACL incision or something. Like he wasn't. It wasn't even like he didn't even look like he was putting. Like he didn't look like he was dunking. Racquetball. He looked like he was putting a meatball in a microwave. It was like
So sneaker culture will tell you there's a lot of ways to tell if your Jordans is fake, and the Jumpman is one of them.
Yep.
Like, have you ever heard about the Jumpman having a butt crack? Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So on fake pairs of Jordans, when they stitch in the Jordan logo, if it's fake, the stitch will go up that back leg that's split and go up the back a little bit, so it looks like he has a butt crack. So if you know your Jordans is fake if he got a butt crack. Like,
man, the plumber Jordans.
Yeah, the plumber 4s would be insane. Comes with a tool belt. I'm with that.
Yeah, maybe if I had gotten a job there, then I could have afforded them. But I actually, when I my first teacher paycheck I used and went and bought a pair of Nikes.
Hey.
Air Jordans. They were like past his prime. It was like Atlantic City poker table Jordans.
No, that Jordan was still getting rings. Now, if you said like Wizards Jordan, I'm like, okay.
This was post Wizards Jordan.
Oh, this is late Wizards.
Like,
this is
my
big.
first page. It would have been 05, 06.
This is terrible jeans Jordan.
Yeah,
this is the big parachute jeans
yeah,
Jordan.
This is not good Jordan.
Everybody still wants to be Jordan. I've been seeing pictures of Jalen Hurts just dressing like Jordan all the time. Like with the backwards Kangol, the tucked in shirt. I mean, yeah, but dog, it's why you.
I had Michael Jordan cologne.
Everybody had the cologne. Everybody had
basketball indented in it.
Oh my god,
black base. Yeah,
it
was so terrible too. It smelled terrible.
But because who really thinks about Jordan? Goes, I bet you he smells good. Who
thinks
that? Like, I feel bad. I bought the Black Panther cologne.
How was that?
Just as bad as you would think. It felt like the Panther cologne from Anchorman.
It was a Sex Panther.
Pungent.
It stings the nostrils. They've done studies, you know.
Yeah, it was so bad, but I thought it was like my first little scent. So I'm like, yeah, yo, I'm putting this on.
Yeah.
My first little scent came at like 26. So
I remember the Dragon Noir or whatever.
That
was a big one.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Yeah. Oh man.
This is gonna be wild. You're going to look at me like I'm crazy. All right. Tell me, to this day, I'm still trying to figure out if I had a valid crash out or not. You might be able to help me.
Okay.
I'm in a relationship, right? She has an ex. I'm just starting to get into colognes. So I'm like, what cologne should I get? What cologne should I get? She goes, Calvin Klein Obsession, I think is what, right?
Yep.
Calvin Klein Obsession. I love that scent. That's my favorite scent. I'm like, all right, cool. And then jokingly, I'm like, you think the girlie's going to like it? She is like, who cares about the girlie? This is about me. I'm like, I'm just playing, but you're right. So I wear it a couple times. Not only did the girlies not like it, they say it smells horrible. So I'm like, damn, can't wear that no more. Go back to the crib. Yeah, I don't think it's for me. Oh, it's okay. Why do you like this scent so much anyway? What's this scent for you? Like, why? Oh, my ex-husband wore it all the time. Crash out. Am I valid?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Thank you.
You know what that means she wants the memories. That's terrible.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like if I walked in saying like, yo, put on Daisy, my ex wore that. Like, you gonna look at me like I'm a nut. Come on,
hey,
man.
wear this mask that looks like my ex-husband's face when we get down.
Hey, put on these clothes or wear this mask and change your name to this.
Yeah.
And
Can you drop your voice like 4 octaves?
Dog. Grow some facial hair out and then make it turn gray. It's like, bitch, I'm 25.
Just go back to him. I don't understand.
Yo, bro, I'm telling you, Greg wants you back too. You don't gotta put. You don't gotta
get you guys together.
Yeah, bro, you don't gotta put this on. Do I gotta parent trap y'all back together?
Yeah, that's what you like reverse. That would be a crazy premise.
Imagine marrying somebody to get them back with their ex on purpose. Why? Like you walk into them and they in bed, and you just go. Oh,
that's why I'm glad I'm married. I'm like, I don't have to worry about this. I hear people talking about dating. I'm like, oh, guys, frag my mind on the Oregon Trail. I don't have to worry about that.
Dating is the Oregon Trail. They all have dysentery. They all just pooping. One of my students asked me, and they were like, "What do you be doing on the weekends? You be going to clubs?" I'm be like, "For what?" And you're like, "Why? I think that's what adults do." I'm like, "What's appealing about spending $25 to be somewhere you don't even want to be? The drinks suck. Everybody ugly." The girls stink, the boys smell worse, and I had to pay for parking. No, thank you. I'm going to be at home with my HBO Max and my jalapeno cooked kettle chips. Great night.
That's it.
Great night.
That's funny.
So that's how I do.
I love it.
Yeah, man.
All right, well, as we wrap up, why don't you tell people where they can find you, what you got coming up, anything you want to...
Oh, for sure. Okay, so one, you can find me on social media. She Got Jokes, Instagram, YouTube. I have a special, clips, all that kind of stuff. It's fun goodies. I got a couple shows coming up. I'm going to be in Atlantic City later this month. I think not this coming Saturday, but next one. I forget the date. But look on my socials. You'll find that. But happy to announce that the second Rasheed Wesley Jr. and Friends will be taking place at Soul Joel's at 7, November 29th. Get your tickets already. This is going to be a barn burner. You're going to love it.
Awesome. Dude, check him out. She's got jokes. He's hysterical. We're talking about Best of the Burbs champ here. We got some cred. So, make sure you follow him. Do all the things. Follow us. For him.
And I'm going to be in L.A.
L.A.? You're going to L.A.?
Yeah, man. I'm doing L.A. I'm doing Chocolate Sundays, First Impressions. Yeah, so I will be at the Laugh Factory November 9th. So check me out if you
yeah.
happen to be in LA.
Dude, that's awesome. I love that. 7th and 8th, I'm actually up in Sayre, Pennsylvania. I'll be on a show with Stephanie from Full House.
Yo, okay. Yo, no, that's a bar. That's
crazy.
I love to meet those old heroes. I made Tevin Campbell laugh.
I stood in line at the Viewmont Mall when I was 12 to get an autograph from her.
What? Yo, you have to bring it up.
It was like, I know, right? Because it was it was actually a $10 bill. I wanted to be cool. I want to be a baller, so let her know I got money. You know, everybody else is doing headshots. I'm like, no.
It's like, nah.
You signed this $10 bill, and then somebody said I should jokingly offer to sell it for $8.
You should. You should.
Just to get her to say how rude. You know?
What if imagine slide somebody like an autograph $10 bill? It's like, yo, I wrote my number on this. If you think I'm cute, keep it and call me. If you think I'm ugly, just sign it and hand it back. And she goes, there you go. Have fun. Yeah, right. Enjoy yourself. Keep watching the show. Thank you for your views.
Thank you. That's it. Yeah, so I'm great. Yeah, I can't wait for that. It's gonna be like my next one. But, make sure you follow the episodes, like, comment, subscribe, do all the things.
For sure.
And we'll see you next time on Jaywalking.
Yo, peace.
Like.